So, what do you want out of life? Most people say peace, love, and happiness. Think about it a little bit more. Wealth, health, success, a good career. Think about it a little bit more. Maybe some kids, maybe a husband first. No, a dog first. And then maybe a house and a car. In fact, we spend a lot of time thinking about what we want in life. And we chase our dreams and our ideas. And then we realize that's not what we wanted. Or we change our mind. Or something comes up, obstacles. So, in pursuit for finding out what is that happiness, what is that peace, what is that love that we're looking for, we end up worried, frustrated, angry, with fears and doubts. So, how can we make that different? My name is Zamanta, and I practice and teach yoga. So, I get this question asked a lot. Why? Because you look at me and you go, oh, you teach yoga? Oh, so that means you're a very happy-go-lucky, laid-back Zen hippie. I think I look. And I would say, pretty much. So what is yoga? Well, simply, yoga means union and connection. And when people hear that, I go, okay, union. What does that mean? Well, I like to say that yoga is about a technique that teaches you how to use tools to help you breathe and move in your body and help you with your mind. So we all need to breathe. We all need to move our bodies. We all need to connect. So when we take yoga and we connect to who we are, how we live, how we breathe, how we move our body, we're doing yoga. So how does that work with everything? A lot of times we spend our time thinking about, well, I don't have time to go to a yoga class. I don't have time to go and sit down and be quiet. I don't have time to do these kind of things in our lives. Well, if you take the moment to just connect to what you're feeling, you're doing yoga. And in the Western world, we think doing yoga is actually just moving physically our body. But yoga is a lot more than just that. Yoga is a spectrum of techniques. And I like to equivalent it to like a house, right? What do you need to have a house? You need to have a floor. You need to have a walls. You need to have a roof. You need to have windows and a door. Now, if you don't have one of those things, let's say you don't have a roof, do you really have a house? Not really, right? So the same thing with yoga. There's things that you need to concern yourself with when you're dealing with yoga, right? So you need to breathe, right? You need to be concerned about your body. You need to be concerned about your mind, your emotions, and your environment. So let's go back to the house, right? The house has to start with a floor, a foundation. If you don't have a foundation, well, you can't really have a good house, right? The house won't be strong because if you want to stack another level, another floor, it might not be stable. Well, our breath in yoga is very important. And a lot of people come to me, well, I know how to breathe. I mean, if I wasn't breathing, I wouldn't be alive. Correct. We all are alive, so we all are breathing. And when you stop breathing, you're not alive anymore. But I'm not trying to teach you to breathe. I'm trying to have you utilize your breath in the best way possible, right? I want you to be aware of your breath. I want you to be aware when you're excited and when you're sad and how you breathe and how you function with your breath. Because I want you to connect. And we want to be conscious about our breath. So just like your foundation, you start with your breath. You get life because you took your first breath. And then somehow in between that, our first and our last breath, we forgot that we were even breathing. So when we pay attention to how we breathe, we start with our foundation. Yoga wants you to first think about your breath. So then we have our walls, right? And what are our walls in when we're dealing with a human being in yoga? Our body. And our body is our expression of who we are, right? Because you have a little voice in your head that's telling you who you are. Maybe you have the one that tells you, oh, you can do this. And the other one says, no, you can't. But your body is your vehicle to express that. And so what you put in your body, how you nourish it, how you sleep, how you rest it, and how you move it, how you exercise it, are three important things that you need to take care of when you're dealing with your body. And we forget that. So in yoga, you only hear about the physical postures. So yes, I can put myself in a pretzel, but that's not the point of yoga. It's how I connect to my body. And it is great that I can exercise and move my body in different ways because that makes me feel empowered. And it makes people who practice the form of physical practice of yoga empowered in their body. But if they just work on the physical practice and they don't work on what they put in, this is your temple. So how you eat, how you take care of yourself, how you nourish your body with the foods that you put in, with how much fluid you put in, what the environment, how you take in the environment really affects your body. And then, if I ate, and I tell this to my students who come to my class, I said, if I ate well and exercised well, and I didn't rest, I wouldn't be well. It just doesn't work. You got to have those three things in your body. So like walls, if you have a thin wall, you don't feel comfortable. The wind will, blow it away. You need to connect to how your body works. So then we go to our roof, right? We're back to the house. If you don't have a roof, do you feel stable? Do you feel secure? No. You want to be enclosed. Your mind is like our computer, right? So we have a lot going on in our mind, and our mind gets scattered. And we sometimes feel like we're on this little wheel, and we're running, and we're trying to go. Now, if a computer gets too much information, what does it do? It crashes. If we don't control how we think and how we use our mind, and in yoga, the idea is that we connect to what's going on in our mind, right? So there's times when we feel sad, there's times when we feel happy. How do we handle that? How do we step away and notice what's happening in our mind, or we just continue going? So there's meditation, there's a connection to what's happening. And we want that. So we want to have our breath, our body, and our mind connecting in that union. So if we have that going on, then we have to start thinking about the windows. Now think about those windows, right? If you open up a window, you close a window, you can let the air in, you can let the cold in, you can let the light in, or you can close it up. But that changes. The window, you can always change the atmosphere of what's happening in your house based on your windows. But if you have no windows, you don't have a house. Emotions. Our emotions take us everywhere, right? We can be angry one minute, and then sad the next minute, and then excited the next minute, and then frustrated the next minute. And we are going in all of these different emotions, and we just don't know how to handle them. And it's different from the mind, because the mind's telling you, do this, do this, this is the muscle. It tells you, we need to do this, we need to do this. And your muscle is going, yeah. Or, like for instance, I'm here with you all, but my heart could be going, boop, 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 boop. And I'm like, but how do I handle that? So your emotions are a part of yoga where we learn how to attach or detach from our emotions. Because we have to be able to not react to every emotion we feel. And that's what we tend to do. And when we react to the emotions we feel, we affect how our body feels. We affect how our mind reacts. We affect our breath. So we want to get those emotions balanced by connecting to yoga and learning how, when to attach to that emotion, when to detach, and learning not to react. So another part of the house. In this part, right, you have your windows, your floor, your wall, your roof, the door. Well, the door in a house and the door in yoga are pretty much the same. What you let in, what you keep out. How do you deal with the outside world? How do you deal with the inside world? In yoga, we have a door. It's our energy, our spirit. And we want to know how to deal when we're out there in this chaos, because there's going to be chaos. There's going to be challenges. But how we handle it when we're out there, if we have our breath intact, connected, balanced with our emotions, with our body, with our mind, when we walk out that door, we feel whole. And at the same time, when we work within ourselves, which is work, we are allowing ourselves to be okay within and okay outside. So we have to deal with the environment. We have to deal with those challenges. It's just making sure that we know, today's one of those days, it's going to be a hard day. And I have them. And that's the key. I do have them. So let me tell you a little bit more about me. I grew up in New York, Brooklyn, New York, immigrant family. I put myself through school, got my BFA in Bachelor's in Fine Arts, and I became an interior designer. Was at a top firm in architecture and interior design. And I lived the life that, we thought we want, right? What do we want in life? So I had a nice apartment in the city, the doormat. I didn't have any of the wife, the kids then yet. I had the dog. I think it's good. You start with a dog, see where it goes from there. And I thought I was happy. But I had asthma. I was allergic to everything. If I got a cold, I was sick. I had problems with my stomach. I was stressed out. I was tired, fatigued, going through all of that, and just thought it was normal. I had a very A-type personality. I was always, this has to be done, this has to be done. I was uptight. Let's just say it. Right? And now I am this. So when I tell you that yoga changes you and brings you to this place, when you connect to your body, your breath, your mind, I tell you this not because of any experts that I can run off or charts or let me think, any of that stuff. I want to talk to you about my experience, where I started. Now, I live a life where there is ups and downs, and I have challenges. But when I have my challenge, I accept it, and I deal with it the best that I can. And what I do is that I practice with people, and I tell them, hey, let's practice, and we're going to do some yoga today. And I walk in, and I think, we're going to do some physical practice. And it turns out we end up talking. Or we end up doing breath work. Or we just deal with everyone's emotions at that moment. Because people come in and everyone's just like, and I notice. I have a teenage daughter. And I tell you, if you don't have kids, wait until they become teenagers. And that's strain and tough to do. I have an old dog. And it's like having an old lady with me all the time, hacking and coughing and keeping me busy. But I'm always smiling. I'm always happy. And I deal with what I need to do and what I need to deal with at that moment. Because the practice of yoga taught me that within me, is all the answers. I cannot change the world, and the world will always be changing. But if I accept that the world is changing, and I take care of my breath, and I take care of the body, the temple, my vehicle, and I notice my emotions, and I settle my mind, then I'll have a body that's empowered, a mind that's calm and clear, and a life that's balanced. So I ask you, can we make a difference with what we want in our life? And how are you going to do it? I chose yoga. Thank you.